Just going to get started. So here's that starter. It's been fermenting on my counter for about almost 24 hours now. I think I did it last night at 9 o'clock. It's now 8 o'clock the next day. So 23 hours later, this is how it looks. And the very first thing we're going to do is put in the water, and then we are going to add in the starter and then add in the yeast, and we're going to mix that and basically melt the starter a little bit so it mixes better with the overall dough. That way it's not clumpy inside the dough. So this particular recipe I'm doing is for 4 16-inch pizzas. So if you're going to make 2, you're going to want to cut everything in half, and I'll also provide measurements in the description. So I measured out 697 grams of water. We're going to add 220 grams of the starter, and I'm also going to have 5 grams of yeast. Alright, we went a little over, but that's fine. Not a big deal. We're going to put in 5 grams of instant yeast. Just a little more. Almost there. Perfect. Alright, so now I am going to start mixing it to melt this starter a bit, because it's real stiff and it won't mix with the overall dough nice unless you do this and hydrate it down. I have my mixer set up, and we're going to run this on the low speed for a couple minutes. Alright, so that's pretty good. It doesn't need to be 100% dissolved, but it's definitely hydrated now, so it's going to mix really good with the overall dough. I ended up mixing that for about 3 minutes, and I cranked it up from low speed to about medium, about 3 or 4 on the mixer. Now I'm going to put in 1,040 grams of bread flour. If you want, you can get high gluten flour off of Amazon. I've done it before. You can use just regular bread flour from the grocery store like I am now. I've used King Arthur. I've also used Gold Medal. Today we're using King Arthur just because that's what was on sale. And if you only have all-purpose, it'll still work with all-purpose flour. But it will be better with bread flour, and it'll be a little bit better with the high gluten flour. But whichever flour you end up using, it's still going to be a good pizza. Almost there. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to add in is this stuff right here. This is called Diastatic malt powder, and this is the browning agent, so I won't be putting any sugar in this dough. If you don't have this, you can substitute it with sugar, and I've made pizza for probably about 5 to 6 years before I heard about this stuff, and I learned about it in a book called The Pizza Bible by Tony Gemini, and his recipes called for this diastatic malt powder. And I tell you what, after I used it for the first time and tasted my pizza, that was a game changer. That gave the flavor that I've been looking for a long time. Sugar is okay. If you only have sugar, go ahead and make it with sugar. But if you want that pizzeria taste, that comes from this stuff right here, diastatic malt powder. So I am going to put in 24 grams of it into this recipe. And again, this recipe that I'm doing, this is meant for 4 16-inch pizzas. So if you're not making this much, definitely cut the recipe down. And this overall project I'm doing tonight is for 12 pizzas total, so I'm going to be making this recipe 2 more times before I call it a day. Next we're going to add some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, 12 grams. Right. And then finally I'm going to put some sea salt in here, going for 30 grams. Alright, and now we're going to put it back in the mixer and mix this up. Alright, so I'm going to start it off on low, and I'll probably crank it up as we go. Alright, now I'm going to take it out of the mixer and roll it out on my counter, and I'll show you the next step. And never mind, I just said I was going to take it out and move on to the next step, but I can feel that the gluten really hasn't developed yet. It's tearing really easily, so we're just going to have the mixer go to work just a little bit longer. Alright, so now we're stopping the mixer, and you can feel the gluten is strong. I'm going to roll it out on my counter and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so we're going to roll this dough out onto the counter. Alright, the very next step is this. I'm going to take my dough box and I'm just going to go ahead and cover it for about 10-15 minutes. I'm going to get started on the other dough, and then we'll get back to this one in just a few minutes. Alright, so now that the dough is rested for about 10 minutes, I'm going to show you what you do next. We're going to go ahead and uncover it, and you see how I don't really know what to describe, but you see how it looks. We're about to make it look better. So what you want to do is you want to wet your hands with cold water and then lift right from the bottom and then just lift straight up like this. And then do it again from that side, and you see how it starts to become smooth and the gluten feels really nice and strong. Now it's turning into this nice big smooth ball. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cover it again for about 10 more minutes. Let that gluten relax because the dough's now very, very tight. And then once it relaxes, I'm going to cut it up into the dough balls. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut up the dough balls, and I'm going to do this from 2 different angles. I'll do 2 of them from this perspective so you can get up close of my hands, see how I'm folding it. And then I'll do 2 more from the other side so you can see from the front. And I also have my scale off to the side. You don't see it in the camera, but I'm going to weigh these out to about 450 grams. And before I do any of that, I have my dough box right here. Make sure that you put a little bit of olive oil down so when it's time to make pizza on game day, it doesn't stick. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut into the dough like this. I'm going to go ahead and weigh it off to the side. See how much it is. Alright, it's 463. So, like this, I'm just going to cut a little off. Alright. It's 448, it's probably okay to do that, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and make it 450. So there we go, it's 450. I'm going to show you how to ball it up. So what you want to do is you just want to keep tucking it under. You want to keep the smooth side up. And then to close it up, I kind of just can't really explain it, but I just do this. Just keep pinching it. There. And now it's closed up. So I'll go ahead and put it into the dough box. We'll do this again, and then I'll do it from the other side. Alright, I already know this is not going to weigh enough, so I'm going to get a little extra on there. Just watch now, it's going to weigh too much. No, it's still under, it's at 403, so we're going to add a little more to it. $475. Let's take a little off. Alright, 450. So, just like before, here's what we're starting with. And we're just going to tuck it under itself and keep the smooth side up. Another thing you can do to close one of these up, you can also put it right down on the counter and just move it around and keep tucking it under itself. But for me, picking it up and just kind of pinching it like this just feels natural for me. So, here we go. Into the dough box. Like I said, I'm going to come around to the front so you can see it from this perspective. And we're just folding it in under itself. I'm going to flip it over, pinch it off. There. Put it into the dough box. Here we go, we got this one. And then with the scrap dough, I'm just going to hang on to it. I'm going to work it into the next batch. And I did the same measurements for all the batches of dough I made, so they're all probably going to have a little bit extra. I might actually be able to get an extra pizza out of this if they're all equally about the same size, and I'm sure they will be. So, go ahead and show you what they look like in the box. There we are. And now we're going to put a lid on that, and I'm going to throw it into the refrigerator, and I will take it out of the refrigerator when it's time to make pizza on Sunday.